Hello viewers, and welcome to a brand new episode of Trashtalk on Fabula Ultima, Natural Fantasy Edition, a series where I talk about the various classes you can mix together to create your desired heroic characters in your Fabula Ultima campaign. In today's episode, Merchant. Merchant, Antiquarian, Collector, Pharmacist. Merchants are those that understand the flow of commerce drives the development of nations and kingdoms, and the single-minded concentration of capital will bring things to ruin. More than anything else, it's the exchange of idea and dialogue between distant people that will drive the world forward. In terms of mechanic, merchant is quite a social class, no pun intended. Merchant can acquire a resource called trade points that can essentially be spent in replacement of other resources, like inventory points. It represents the connections and knowledge of the world the merchant has obtained, not capital. There's a distinctive difference here. It's both a support class and one that really makes any class with heavy inventory point usage somewhat easier to utilize, and of course, for the free benefit, you get +2 max inventory point, which just add to the list of class with the same benefits. Anyway, let's take a look at the merchant skills, starting with expiration date. Expiration date: when a potion or delicacy you have created that does not deal damage makes one or more creatures to recover HP, you can instead have it deal poison damage equal to half your level plus up to 30 to each of those creature. This damage type cannot be changed, and it is halved if you deal damage to 2 or more creatures. Whether you are class crossing with alchemists or gourmet, now you can force feed your opponent with products way past the expiration date to defeat them through their stomach, and since the poison damage is detached from how much the potion and gourmet can heal, you can use weak stuffs for this and it will still do just fine. Second, I've heard of it, when you, or an ally that can hear and understand you, is performing a check to examine a creature, item, or location, you may spend 1 trade point to grant up to +6 bonus to the check. In essence, this is kinda like stepping into the role of a lore master on figuring things out, but instead of being book smart, you are street smart. In fact, nobody said you can't just double down. Third, private stock: when you or another player spent up to 5 or fewer inventory point, you may spend 1 trade point to ignore that cost, want to get something temporary that's rather expensive on hand. This skill will let you do that, even at minimum point investment. Being able to ignore a 3 IP cost is pretty damn good. Fourth, real treasure: once per session, when you help an NPC or community improve their quality of life, coexist with other creatures, and defeat the specters of capitalism, if you have acquired the Wind of Trade skill, you gain up to 4 trade points. While Wind of Trade skill is what really define merchant, I think this skill also really tells you what being a merchant is about. It's not about being filthy rich, it's about making everyone filthy rich, enjoy connection and welfare, something so many of these goddamn cozy farm sim just straight up miss and instead turn into capitalism simulator by exploiting the shit out of the bounty of the land and goodwill of everyone around you. Fuck you Pierre, I hope your wife divorce you. It's video game, I know. Gathering of wealth is one of the main way to progress in a lot of them, but real life isn't a game. The money you obtain is determined by the value of how wealthy and or how much your nation can apply violence onto others, and the richer you are, the more questionable it is on where do these money come from. Billionaire don't become billionaire by being humane, that's for sure, and even lowly landlords can often be monster to their tenants. So this comes back to what merchant is about. It's definitely not about gathering of capital to enrich yourself and only yourself. It's not about being philanthropist either, because that shit doesn't fucking exists. When you play as a merchant, seeking to make connections between distant towns, you are not putting your wealth on the line to gain more of it, you are putting yourself on the line to connect people. Hell, the poster child for merchant is on a wheelchair. She's fucking hardcore on fostering exchange. And this idea translates to the skill. Remember, when you are gaining trade points, you are not gaining capital. Often in places far beyond the core of a capital, currency is useless. Favor, knowledge, and what you have on hand are often way more important. And lastly, there's winds of trade. After you rest at an area where commerce is possible, you gain up to 4 trade points, and you may never have more than up to 6 trade points. If you acquire the skill during character creation, you begin play with 2. During non-conflict scene, you may spend 2 trade points to choose one option: create a material or rare item approved by the GM with zenith cost equal or lower than your level times 30, or you create an NPC that lives nearby and explains their occupation as well as how you meet them, then the GM tells you what they require in exchange for their service. This is essentially the core skill of the merchant. Without it, it doesn't work, and through the trade points you have obtained, you can use it to gain powerful items or generate an NPC that might be able to aid the party through their journey, representing the merchant using their connection to obtain item impossible to be found elsewhere or to find people that can help them. After putting 10 levels into merchant, it is considered as mastered and you can get a heroic skill for it. In total, there's 4 merchant-specific heroic skills, 3 from Natural Fantasy and 1 in the 6th Fabula Ultima bonus supplement. First, there's For a Better Future, which of course requires real treasure and Winds of Trade skills. When you need to spend 1 or more Fabula points, if you are not altering the story, you can spend that many trade points instead. Additionally, when you gain 2 or more trade points through real treasure and Winds of Trade, you can choose to only gain 1 instead and invest the rest into a settlement within 1 travel day away to increase its prosperity, by an amount equal to your skill level in real treasure and Winds of Trade. Every settlement's prosperity starts at 0 and has no upper limit, gaining the following effects at certain level of prosperity. Is this Fallout 4? Why is Todd Howard in my Fabula Ultima? But anyway, there's 2 parts to this skill. 1. You can use the power of your commerce in place of Fabula points most of the time, which is extremely powerful to say the least. And 2. Not only can you improve settlement so you can rest without cost and travel more safely, and instead of another settlement needs your help, if a villain tries to attack the town with high prosperity, they will find it to be much harder instead. It's a good way to demonstrate how much a merchant character has helped the region, and how much this will impact the plot as it goes on. Second, Power Nap, which can also be unlocked by Guardian and Wayfarer. To summarize, on your turn during a conflict, you can power nap to quickly recover HP and MP and clear all status effects, but it also means you are basically defenseless for 1 turn, so hopefully your ally is up to the task. This is a quick way to recover massively, but you are essentially doing nothing but napping for a turn, so better plan it well. And third, Skillful Dosage, which can be unlocked by Gourmet, Lore Master, and Tinkerer. This is a skill that lets your potions, delicacy, and spells to recover people beyond their maximum, allowing overhealing to be useful when your party needs that many resource. This goes back to normal after the scene, but it's still pretty useful during a hard fight. And on the 6th Fabula Ultima bonus supplement, there's a Futa Mastery, which can be unlocked by Arcanist, Symbolist, Spiritist, and requires the Symbolism skill. When you use the Symbolism skill during conflict, you can spend 20 MP to ignore the skill's inventory point cost. When you perform a free attack with a melee weapon as part of the Symbolism skill, the attacker may target enemy that can only be targeted by ranged attack. This addition feels counterintuitive to the merchant class. One of the main point of merchant is to be able to ignore inventory point cost, so another way to do that feels a bit pointless, but I suppose this is something to consider if you do mix Symbolist with merchant. And that's basically it on merchant, trader that seeks to foster connection and exchange between the fringes of the world without falling into the temptation of greed, to which I say, good luck. Anyway, that's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.